Hi, I'm Haley and welcome back to my channel. I'm super excited because today I'm ranking the last 15 perfumes I tried. I recently did a video ranking the last 10 eyeshadow palettes I tried and I really enjoyed it. I feel like it forces me to really reckon with how the things that I buy stack up against each other, whether or not they're worth it, and what my true favorites really are. Plus, it gives me an opportunity to go through a bunch of speed reviews all in one video. So if you like this kind of content, I hope you'll stick around and keep on watching. So I'm going to start least favorite to most favorite. Like I said, I have 15 different fragrances here. I have some minis, I have some full-size bottles, and I'm just gonna get on into it. So to start off with my absolute least favorite of the last 15 perfumes I've tried, I have Kayali's Maui in a bottle. So if you watched my dedicated video on this fragrance set that came out over the summer, you'll know that I did not like this. I saw some mixed reviews. I saw that some people really enjoyed this one. Basically, this is supposed to be a tropical perfume that's representative of Maui. I love Maui personally. I've been there. It's absolutely beautiful. One of the most beautiful places that I have ever been, and this perfume just really does not reflect that to me. And I think the main issue is that there's a very strong jasmine note in this. I love white florals. I think they can be done very beautifully, but I think when they're done poorly, they're so bad. And to me, this smells like BO. There's nothing else I can say. It just smells like body odor. I don't like it. It really drowns out the other perfume notes. So some of the other notes are banana, pear, coconut, lovely notes like that. But to me, I really just get that super intense, sickly jasmine note that is drowning everything else out in this fragrance, and for that it's going to be ranked at the bottom. Then coming up at number 14, this is a big disappointment because this is a fragrance that I was really excited for because I really like the house in general, and that is Replica's Afternoon Delight. I just don't like this. It has a really strong synthetic vibe to it, and I almost get a synthetic almond note, which I'm not the biggest fan of. This is supposed to be representative of like a French afternoon tea, so Madeleine's, Proust, all of that fun stuff that really suckered me to be honest, into buying this fragrance, and I just don't like it. It's also supposed to have notes of vanilla and whipped cream, which I get, but it's just not done in a way that feels rounded or sophisticated. It just feels, like I said, very screechy and synthetic, and I don't like it. I saw a lot of people say that this needs time to kind of sweeten up, mature, age, if you will, but I've had this for a few months now and I still don't enjoy it, and I just don't see myself wearing it. Okay, now we're moving into the biggest group of fragrances in the bunch, which are the ones that I enjoy but just aren't my tip-top favorites. So the first two I talked about were ones that I just do not like at all, but the next group is, you know, ones that I like. I don't think that there's anything wrong with them. They're just maybe not my tip-top favorites. And the first of this group is going to be my Nicolai's Fig Tea. And I really wish I loved this more than I do. And I think the main reason that I'm not reaching for this is just, it's kind of forgettable to me. It doesn't smell like fig or tea, two notes that I absolutely love. I love like a rich, jammy fig note, but this is not that at all. It really just smells very inoffensive, but to me, I really want to reach for things that are super special, crave-worthy, all of that good stuff, but this is just kind of boring to me. That said, it's not a bad scent at all. It's very light, it's super office friendly. I think if you are somebody who doesn't like to make a big splash with fragrance, you might like this. It really has some very pretty notes of osmanthus and orange oil, which are definitely the notes that I get when I smell this fragrance. Like I said, it's very springy, it's pretty, it's very inoffensive, but for that reason, it's at the bottom of this group in the middle that are all just okay to me. And yeah, this one is just an okay fragrance. Next up, I have another one of the Kayali Vacation in a Bottle scents, and that is Marrakesh in a Bottle. So this one is very much just a basic orange blossom perfume. It even says that as the main note on the bottle here. I think it's really nice. I think it's pretty, but again, it's a little bit forgettable. It's a little bit boring, but I think this would be very office safe. Again, very inoffensive if you are not somebody who likes to make a splash, if you're somebody who works in a setting where you can't wear heavy fragrances or anything like that. I think this may be a really good choice. Like I said, I think it's pretty. If you love Orange Blossom, you might really like this. Again, Orange Blossom, as you might be able to tell from these last two, is not one of my absolute favorite notes. I think it's pretty, I think it's nice, but it's not something that I'm craving or specifically seeking out. And so for that reason, I'm ranking this perfume where it is. Then next up, I have the third Kayali Vacation in a Bottle scent, and this is Capri in a Bottle. So this is a lemon sugar scent. I think it's fun. I think it's pretty. It is kind of your typical iced lemon pound cake scent that has been very popular in the last few years. Again, I think this is a fun, sweet gourmand without being overly syrupy, overly aggressive or anything like that. It's girly, it's pretty, it's fun. I just think it's not very unique. There's a lot of other fragrances that do this, you know, iced lemon pound cake from Bath & Body Works vibe, but do it so much better. So for example, Xerjoff's Lyra is this, but on steroids. Like this is kind of like the great grandbaby of Lyra, which is absolutely beautiful, delicious, super lemony gourmand scent, and I just feel like this is kind of a pale imitation of that kind of scent. Again, there's nothing wrong with it. I think it's pretty, I think it's fun, but just having smelled and worn Lyra, I think it's so much better than this one. Next up, I have a designer fragrance, and that is Versace's Dylan Purple. I have traditionally really liked the Versace Dylan line, so Dylan Blue, Dylan Turquoise. I think they're both really great, affordable designer fragrances, but I just feel like this one is not as good as those two. So this one is fruitier and sweeter. It really leans more into these synthetic floral notes, so synthetic rose notes, things like that, which I think is actually a really interesting use of those synthetic notes. But this one just isn't as good to my nose to some of the other fragrances in the Versace line, which I just feel like do this sort of easy, breezy designer fragrance in a just much more elevated and a refined way. So this one just feels like the, you know, preteen sister to some of those other fragrances, which I think is kind of a disappointment. That being said, I don't think this is a bad fragrance. I just think it's really basic, and there's nothing wrong with being basic, but that's why it's ranked where it is in this ranking. Then next up, I have the last of the Kayali Vacation in a Bottle scents that came out in the 4-pack over the summer, and that is Maldives in a Bottle. I think this is just the most interesting one of the bunch. It's kind of aromatic. It has a rosemary note that I think is kind of interesting, and it's lightly tropical without being cloying or like a traditional tropical fragrance. I think it's nice, it's easy to wear, and it's like kind of breezy in a fun way. I definitely think this one is the most unique and pleasant to me of the 4 that came out in that set. So I like this one the most. I haven't really been wearing any of these 4 just because there's so many more fragrances that I have been enjoying, but if I was going to wear one of the 4, it would be this one. Next up, I have a fragrance from Skylar that came out this summer, and that is Skylar's Citrus Reverie. I really enjoy this one. It is a very juicy citrus and a pineapple scent. I think if you really like ultra sweet fruity citrus scents versus more aromatic or more masculine ones, you might like this fragrance a lot. I think it's great for the summer. Like I said, it's very juicy. It's pretty, it's fun. I don't quite think it's as strong as some of Skylar's other fragrances in the sense of it's not as good as some of the other Skylar fragrances, not in terms of the lasting power, but I do like it quite a lot. I just, when comparing it to some of the other Skylar fragrances like Boardwalk Delight, for example, that are just super evocative and more unique, this one doesn't quite match up, but I do really enjoy it. I think I'll really enjoy wearing this one next summer. Next up, I have another Kayali fragrance from their regular line, and that is Kayali's Eden Juicy Apple. I really like this one. I love apple fragrances in general. I just love apple as a fragrance note, and this is a super sweet take on apple. It's not a crisp apple or anything like that, and this also has an interesting baccarat or cloud vibe that I think was really just playing into the popularity of those fragrances when this one came out, and so I don't think it's super unique because of that. It's more of just a kind of take on a popular fragrance profile, but I do like this one. I think it's wearable. I think it's pretty. I think it's great for the fall and winter months when that apple vibe just feels really fun and festive, so I really like this fragrance a lot. Okay, now we're getting into the top 6 fragrances of this ranking, and these are all perfumes that I really enjoy and recommend, and I just think are really great. The first of which is Fleur's Tangerine Boy. This is just a super delicious, juicy citrus fragrance that has a little bit of a bite to it. So it also has a peppery vibe, it has black pepper and ginger in the notes that kind of temper the juiciness of the citrus a little bit. I just really like this. I think it's super pretty. I think it could be definitely unisex. It's just really juicy and delicious. Definitely gives delicious summer vibes. Even just smelling this right now kind of takes me back to some of the best parts of summer, and I really, really love this fragrance. And another summer fragrance that I really loved this past year was Ellis Brooklyn's Miami Nectar. This is just so great. I'm not always the biggest fan of coconut fragrances, but this does it in such a way that is not cloying, it's easy to wear, and it's just so evocative of summer because it uses a coconut water note versus a coconut milk or anything like that. And it also has some really beautiful white florals that really round it out. So it has some jasmine, frangipani, lily of the valley, notes that just really make this a fun, kind of watery, you're drinking a fun summer beverage, you're out with your friends. I just really love this one. I think it is so pretty, and I think it's kind of unique and ultra wearable, but in a way that, I don't know, like I said, this just really takes me back. This is such a fun fragrance, and one that I just feel like when comparing it to, for example, to Maui in a bottle, I just feel like this is done in such a more nuanced, more elevated way than that fragrance, and I really, really love this one. Next up, I have another fragrance from Ellis Brooklyn that I absolutely adore, and that is Ellis Brooklyn's Apple Love. This is so good. I think it is so perfect for this time of year, and if you love apple fragrances like I do, definitely get your nose on this one. This is a very pure apple to me. It's pretty sweet, so it's not a crisp apple. It has some vanilla in the base, as well as a sugar note, some white florals. It's just a really fun and festive fragrance for the fall time. I think it could work any time of year actually, but I think this is so nice. I really love apple fragrances, like I was saying, and I love to have this one that is just such a fun, sweet, like well done apple note rendition in this fragrance, and I really enjoy this one. So Kayali has been all over this ranking. It's been at the bottom, and now it's also in the top 3 because this is Kayali's Vanilla Candy Rock Sugar. I really surprised myself with how much I love this fragrance. So I like cotton candy fragrances. I just think they're so fun, youthful, and just like evocative of fun memories, and this does not disappoint. I think it's a very fun, ultra sweet fragrance with a really great patchouli note in the base that cuts through the sweetness and prevents it from being too saccharine, too over the top, too cloying, or anything like that. I just think this is a really great fragrance. It's a little bit unique to me compared to some of the other ultra sweet gourmands that are out there. I think it's just super a compliment getter fragrance, and I really am so glad that I picked this one up. Okay, heading into the top 2, this is a fragrance that I actually bought the most recently out of anything in this ranking, and I have just fallen in love with this fragrance, and that is Mancera's Amore Cafe. I freaking love the bottle on this, first of all, and this luxe magnetic cap is just absolutely wonderful. The juice is gorgeous. I am in love with this. If you like amaretto, definitely try this one out. It has a coffee vibe, but that's not all it is. The coffee note is not super strong or overwhelming. It's a little bit vanillic, but not overly so. I just think it's blended really nicely. It's so nice to wear. It lasts so long. This is such a strong, powerful fragrance. I've gotten a lot of compliments on this so far. I really love this one, and it's kind of renewed my interest in Mancera. I've tried things from them before that I didn't particularly love, but this one I think is so great. It wears so nicely, and I really freaking love this fragrance. I definitely recommend, like I said, if you like a amaretto vibe, I would definitely recommend trying this fragrance out. And last up in the number 1 spot is a fragrance that is from one of my favorite fragrance houses of all time, which is BDK, and that is of course Tuberose Impériale. I freaking love this. I have waxed poetic about this on my channel before, but if you love ultra buttery, delicious, classy white florals, definitely check this one out. It's not indolic. It is very smooth, well blended, just absolutely beautiful. This is also, dare I say, beast mode. This is so strong for a floral. It lasts so well on the skin and on clothes. It is so, so beautiful. When I think of just like really well done perfumery, I think of this fragrance. It is so beautiful. I'm so happy to have this full bottle because I know that I will be loving and wearing this fragrance for years. I just feel like this is a fragrance that makes me love white florals that are done right. So it's really interesting. Our lowest ranked fragrance is a white floral that I feel like is done really poorly, and then a white floral has the top spot as well. And I just feel like this is an example of a really, really beautiful jasmine tuberose white floral fragrance that is just done so, so well. And I love BDK. I talk about them a lot. It's just a really wonderful brand that just exudes quality to me. Just a really gorgeous bottle with a really heavy cap on here, and I just think it is so worth the money. That's all I have for today, and thank you so much for joining me. As always, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.